Welcome back to Angling with Dink Dangler. I'm your host, Dink Dangler. We're talking jig tips today. A lot of you guys have been asking how exactly I fish the jig. So got a perfect sunny day in October right now. I'm throwing this little 1/8 ounce. It's a Strike King Bitsy Bug, green pumpkin with a green pumpkin, purple and copper flake Yamamoto double tail grub. Throwing it on a 7.2 medium heavy rod. And I'm gonna show you guys kind of exactly how I throw this by I'm just gonna record pretty much everything that I do today, and hopefully we get bit. I tried to do this yesterday and it didn't work, so without further ado, we're gonna get on the water and get to cranking some smallmouth, ideally. Let's check it out. Morning.
Good morning. Any luck?
I just got here.
Okay.
So hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, so the first thing, I'm gonna give you my basic jig retrieval. So I'll make a nice long cast out, as far as I can possibly cast, especially when I'm fishing out over rocks right now. But yeah, like this is like one way, I guess, to retrieve this lure. So now it's on bottom, and I know that because I'm feeling rocks and such on the bottom there. Is that a fish? Am I snagged? No way am I snagged right now. I feel like I got somebody's line. Yep, I got it free. All right, let's try that again. That was really weird. Let me check my fluorocarbon. Oh yeah, I've got a big kink in my fluorocarbon. Okay, we can't have that today. All right, redo. That's an important thing when you're using, oh, I have another kink right here. Fluorocarbon can get pretty frayed, and when it frays, it becomes very weak. And when you're fishing over rocks, you got to be really careful when you're using, I particularly use fluorocarbon because the water here is so crystal clear, and fish can be line shy, especially smallmouth. So ideally, if you're fishing in murkier water, you can go straight braid if you want, but you got to make sure when you're using fluorocarbon that you don't have any snags or frays in it, because that will weaken your line and it's going to break. So I'm using a fairly long fluorocarbon leader today. It's I'm going to shorten that tag up a little. It's going into my reel, so it's about, I want to say it's probably like 6 feet of fluorocarbon. That's where it starts. And let's see if it even, yeah, it's barely making it into my reel, which I don't recommend. But if you want to get your bait down a little bit deeper and you're not using straight fluorocarbon, you got to have a longer leader, because braid floats and it'll sink a little bit slower. Not the worst thing in the world, but I'm not seeming to have any trouble casting that with that leader going into my backing. All right, let's restart here. So nice long cast out, then I'm feeling bottom. I can feel every rock at the bottom. So now I'm going to drag that bait real slow. I'm going to keep my rod tip high so that I can kind of stay, I'm pulling it over the rocks rather than across them, because that's how you get hung up. And then every once in a while, did you see that move that I just did there? You're gonna lift up your rod and pull. And what that imitates is a crawfish getting spooked and fleeing away from bait, or away from the predator. So if you've ever spooked a craw out from under a rock, that's pretty much what they do. So then when that bait's sitting on bottom, I'm just gonna do a really slow drag. Oh, I just got hit. It was small though. I felt something go for it, like I got attacked, but it felt like either a baby bass or a goby or something like that. Something grabbed my craw arm. That was interesting. Anyway, you want to drag that bait nice and slow across the bottom. That's how I'll get most of my bites. I try to be pretty quick about assessing a spot, because typically when you're fishing a jig like this, I'm fan casting, but I'm also kind of targeting areas where I know are pretty fishy. If I don't get bit within, I would say maybe halfway between my far cast out and retrieving it to shore, I'm just gonna crank that reel back to myself and get it back in and make another cast, because these fish tend to be pretty aggressive, and they'll either hit it on the drop or they'll hit it when you're dead sticking it, or when you do that lift and pull action. I'm fishing a little bit fast right now, but the move with the jig really is to almost dead stick. Like often when I film a video, I'll cut a lot of my retrieve out because it's just so boring, because I'll literally just be sitting there with my jig in the water, just standing still. And what that does is those craw arms, they just kind of pulse with the current, and it's kind of like an inactive action. It's kind of like they call it a do nothing bait, because for the most part I'll get bit when I'm just letting that bait sit there. Is that a fish? It felt like a fish. Every once in a while, I'll just wiggle that rod tip. Oh, I thought that was a fish. And what that does, it'll kind of flick your craw arms any which way. All right, nothing yet. That's okay. We're gonna keep the faith today. I got skunked doing this exact video yesterday, so they might just not be wanting the jig. Here's another way to fish this. I cast along this wall here, and there's, I don't know if you can see that, but there's these grooves in these break walls. The bass will sometimes sit in there. So what you want to do is, I'll pull that bait nice and slow across those, and sometimes a fish will come out and grab it that way, and I'll lift it and pull it past there and let it sit. Kind of just trying to sight fish right now. I saw some giants yesterday. Here, let's take a walk. All right, so I see a bass. Just saw a bass. I saw him yesterday. I don't know if he's been caught before or what, but let's see if we can get this guy to commit today. It's a whole new day. He's had a whole 24 hours to think about whether he wants to take this jig or not. There's that situation I was just talking about where he's sitting right in that, along the edge of this wall here. So maximize my chances. I'm gonna go real slow, just creep this up on him. I don't want to make any sudden movements. It's gonna act naturally. Smallmouth.
Pardon me?
Smallmouth bass.
Smallmouth bass.
Yep, they're pretty much always here. Yeah.
Are you lucky yet?
Not yet, I just got here. Yeah, thank you. Okay, he didn't want any part of that. Let's see if that fish is still there. I think I spooked him. Yep, that fish got spooked. That's really interesting. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, there he is. Came back. Let's see if he wants to drop shot. I gotta see if this fish wants something. I don't know if it's hungry. I think it's just chilling. Let's try this. Let's try Chris Chiba's drop shot rig. If this catches this fish, you're my freaking hero, dude. This is a great bait. Gotta see if these fish want something, because if they don't want anything, it's gonna be a tough day for the jig. He's not chasing it. See if I can get something to commit to this. So I'm gonna set this guy down for a sec. I'm gonna make some casts at this corner with this jig. See if we can get something to hit it on the fall. So you kind of want to cherry pick your spots. Like right now, you guys have probably seen me catch fish at this spot a few times. But what I'll do is throw it just past this break wall here, and a lot of times fish will sit on either side and wait to ambush. Did I have something already? The way to ambush bait. Oh, there's some weeds right there. That's interesting. Oh, I see a bass right under me. That's also interesting. Oh, there's one. There's one. There's one. See, I was just dragging that past that corner. That's a good one. Don't come up. I gotta get to my net. That's a decent smallmouth. Wow, he's got a follower too, and it's big. That's a good one. All right, that worked. Just gonna kind of drag this guy to my net. Wow, he's decent. That's a pretty good fish. Oh, it's a largemouth. It's a largemouth. That's a big largemouth. He's in the net. Let's go. Wow, that's a good fish. Holy cow. That's even bigger than I thought it was. Whoa, whoa. All right, chill, dude. Just want to take a picture of you. Wow, that's a good largemouth. Whoa. All right, I'll take him. Let me get my backpack off so I can get a weight on this guy. Woo! All right, well, there's the power of the jig right there. This has got to be 3 pounds. Every bit of it. So what I was doing is just dragging that jig along that wall. I did see some fish down there, but I didn't see him. All right, we're zeroed out. Let me re-zero that. Zeroed out. 3 pounds, 3 ounces. That's a nice fish. Nice largemouth. Look at him. Whew, that's sick. All right, let me flip this camera around. Nice big old heavy largemouth here. That's a beautiful fish right there. Let's get him back and eating. Head first. Nice fish. Yes, let's go, guys. All right, we got a video. Yesterday was such tough skiing. It was crazy when that fish grabbed that. It didn't seem that big, but it was decent. All right, let's get some more. All right, so where was I? So what I was doing, how I caught that fish was, whoop, that's not gonna work. Knocking on the wall. So I cast along this wall here, and then I let it sink to the bottom. First thing I did was I picked it up and pulled it, and then I just let that sit on the bottom there, and I'd drag it ever so slowly, just rotating my body, and then every so often give it a shake and lift up that bait off the bottom and drag it, let it fall again. He hit it, I think, on the fall. We'll have to review the footage on that one. Oh, I see a bass right under me. That's also interesting. Oh, there's one. There's one. But that was a great fish, man. Really, really nice, filled out, healthy largemouth bass. There was a follower too, so there's going to be some fish here today. Actually, I think I see one behind it. I'm just looking straight down now. You guys can't see that, but with my polarized glasses I can. Now let's try casting out a little bit. It's a nice fish on the break wall, but let's see if we can get one a little bit further out. Show you guys the power of this bait. They're in the mood. They were not having it yesterday. All right, so nice long cast out. I'm gonna just kind of reel down my slack until that bait hits the bottom. And I could feel it, so now I can. You could probably even see my rod tip just wavering a little bit there. And I'm just dragging that bait ever so slowly along the bottom. And when the fish see, you know, this is a sandy, rocky bottom, they'll hear it, you know, bouncing off those rocks, and they'll see maybe some sand kicking up, and they'll follow it for quite a ways sometimes before they bite. So now I'm on a rock, so I'm gonna lift it up and pull it over that rock, reel down the slack in case we get bit. That was a good fish. Been a while since I caught a big fish. Now's the time too on Lake St. Clair. Lift that bait up, pull it, and just do a nice slow drag on the bottom. Kind of boring style of fishing, but when you start getting bit, it's like it's almost like a cross between, oh, there's one. Oh, I had one. My line went slack, then I reeled down the slack and felt him pull. It's kind of like catfishing where you feel that bite. Is he there? Oh, he was there. All right, that's frustrating. So I forgot my trailers at home, which is great when you're trying to film a jig video. Fortunately, I have some that are attached to other baits in my box, but this might be short-lived. I'll kind of just try to focus on the technique because I don't know how many fish we're going to be able to catch. Let's see if that guy will come back for it. He was right around this corner here. I feel like there's going to be some fish stacked up right on this corner right now. They're stacking up along hardcover this time of year. Walls, you know, like break walls, or also what do you call it, like wood, rocks, things like that, things of that nature. And that fish must have been following it for a while. He was right over there. Let that bait fall, reel the slack down in case I get bit. You want to watch your line too. That last bite, my line was running towards me. Fish must have picked it up, started swimming towards me. You can see I'm shaking that rod tip. Hopefully you guys can see my hands. That's the point of this video. I'm going to show you how I fish most of this day. This will be a long one. Got a couple hours here, so this might be an hour-long video. It might be a 2-hour video. We'll see. Nope. Let's try out this way, along this wall. Reeling down the slack until I feel that bottom. I'm just dragging it real slow. A lot of bass boats out here today. Let's try something else here real quick. I want to show you something here. So this weed guard, I'll try to, if I'm not fishing around like a lot of weeds, I'll try to fan that out so it looks a little bit more natural. So when fish see just like that big heavy straight line, sometimes they don't respond to that too well. All right, what I'm going to do is cast along this break wall here. We're kind of just covering all our bases here. Just far enough off the wall so a fish, if they're looking, they could see it. I'd like to even be closer than that. I try to just get it right along this wall. We're on bottom now. And since I can't drag in this position, I'm just reeling that bait in nice and slow. Let it sit for about 5 seconds. And I'll lift it up, pull. Let's move so we can set the hook. The largemouth was pretty big. There's a big rock right there. Pull it over that. Let's try this corner. Different perspective. There's a big pipe down there, and sometimes there will be a lot of fish that sit along that pipe. All right. Got a little bit of cloud cover, which I like. Fish don't have eyelids, so they'll go real deep, or they like to hide when the sun is out in full effect. All right, so another thing I like to do is, there's another one of those break walls over there, and I'll cast as close to you as you can, even like that. Like I'll sit it on top and just drag it into the water, and I'll let that bait fall completely vertically along that wall. So imagine a crawfish was up there and then it fell straight down, and a lot of times fish will just sit on that break wall right there, waiting for something to creep across or fall down it. I'll just wait a little bit, keep my slack tightened up. Get a little lift and pull. You guys will probably wonder, like, what are you even doing? And it's like, I'm not doing anything. That's kind of the point of this bait. You just cast it out, like right there on that corner. I just saw some bait bust right there. I'll let it just fall to the bottom and sit there. Is my line swimming towards me? Surprised there was nothing on that corner. Let's try this corner. Let that bait fall right on that corner like that. It's on bottom now. Reel up the slack. Feel for a bite. That's a fish. Oh, I had something. Alright, I'm not sure if that was a fish or not. I felt like there was something playing with the line. It could have just been wind, honestly. Alright, cast it right in that groove right there. Let it fall straight down. Give it a couple shakes at the bottom. Some big rocks down there. And I'm just kind of feeling out this entire side of this wall. So you never know where that fish is going to be. So I'm just kind of casting into pockets that I think look fishy, or just following my every which whim. It would probably make more sense to, you know, systematically cast into every one. So I'll try that. God, I'm not close enough. You want to be right on that edge. Give that fish like a nice profile of that bait to look at. Nice backdrop. That's closer. There we go. Let that fall straight down. You can see my line going out. Reel up the slack. Ooh, that went slack again. Let it sit. Drag it this way this time. I'm really surprised I haven't gotten bit yet over here. Try again. Let's move it along that wall. Same deal. I'm on bottom. I'm watching my line. Just in case a fish grabs that, I'll see my line move, either towards me or away from me. Lift, pull. If nothing grabs it, likely it's not gonna. Reel up to myself. Let's try along this side. Whoop. Knocking on the dock. It's not a bad thing either, just get some noise going. Might get a fish to turn its head. Earlier this year I caught a walleye doing this along this exact break wall, which is pretty peculiar. I think it was on a black jig though. Black and brown. Nothing on this wall today. Besides grass. Let's stick with our plan here. Right in that pocket. And I'm letting the slack go so that bait will fall vertically. Completely vertical. We're on bottom. Try just dragging this real slow. Lift and pull. What about right at my feet here? Just reeled up to this. I'm just letting my line go down. Was that a... Oh no, that's just a buoy right there. But there was someone had a trap hooked up. Nah, something tells me these fish are gonna be out in this area today. It was worth a shot though. Never really know. So if there was something along that wall, it likely would have bit already, which is interesting. Oh, am I missing? Oh, I'm missing a part of my trailer here. Well, it'll probably work with just the one arm. Typically though, I would change, but today I'm kind of short on trailers since I left them at my house. So we'll stick with this. If we don't get bit in the next like 5 minutes, I'm gonna probably switch it up to a different jig altogether. All right, I'm switching to this Kitech 1/4 ounce football jig. Football's ideal for rocks. A little bit heavier of a jig. I typically would throw like 16-pound leader. This is 12. Just so I don't lose this jig because they're pretty expensive. They're like $8 a piece-ish, or closer to 7 I should say, but compared to the Bitsy Bug, that's like a couple bucks. Hate losing these. Wonder if I have my jig in here too. I made one recently. Try that today too. The good thing about this football jig is it'll sit straight up like that. Let's cut this tag end off. Palomar knot. Let's get our stuff put away so it doesn't fall in the lake. All right, I'm gonna go this way. I know there's some rocks out there. Now that it's overcast, black and blue might be the move. But we'll try this for a few casts. Well, this one I want to stay light on my feet, so I'm going to do the lift and pull probably a little more frequently, because it drags on the bottom pretty aggressively. And I'll just let it sit there, dead stick it. Now a heavier jig, when you do that lift and pull, it'll stay tighter to the bottom. Naturally, because it's... Oh, is that a fish? Or a rock? I can get this a little bit further out too, which covers some more area. There's a lot of times as you're dragging this thing, this fish will get curious and they'll just kind of follow it for a long time. Oh, that was a fish. Come back for it. A lot of times if I get hit like that but they don't commit, I'll just shake my rod tip. Try lifting it. Here comes a bass boat. See how close they get to me. Oh no, they're going away. Oh. I thought that was a fish. Might have just been weeds. Alright, well the only thing I could think to do is give this jig that I hand tied a shot. Because why not? We're not getting bit anyway. Might as well try this guy out. Hopefully I don't lose it. Same color. It's 3/16 ounce, so just a little bit heavier but not by much. and it has an intact trailer attached to it, and that's the main reason I'm switching to this, because my trailer is a bit toe up from the flow up, as they say. I don't love this weed guard, but hey, it's fine. Probably don't even need it because we're fishing around rocks, but I'll keep that hook off the rocks at the very least. All right, let's get our stuff put away here. And trying the shallows. One last ditch effort, but hopefully you guys got a good insight into a day of fishing with me. This is going to be a long one, but it'll be worth it with that one good fish. All right, I'm just going to work my way down in these shallows over here, see if we can get anything to commit. It's pretty much all rocks on this side, which is cool. And fish aren't going to be hanging around near the weeds for sure. They might be around these rocks, and they might want the jig. I think they're keying in on little bait fish right now, so not the ideal time necessarily to fish this, but to me, any time's a good time for the jig, you know what I'm saying? A smallmouth along this wall here, which is interesting. Thought it was a rock and then it moved. So maybe I was on the wrong track that entire time. Alright, well, it's 12:06. Not looking too good for us at this point. I could either stay and waste some more time. Well, there's bait back here. Either stay and waste some more time, or could just get out of here and not waste any time. But if we do waste some more time, we have the potential to catch a fish, which is kind of cool. Oh, got one. No way. Oh, I lost him. Damn. I had one in this marina. It looked like a smallmouth or a big perch, but I tried to bow flip him over this fence and no dice. But I saw the bait fish over here getting kind of squirrely. Interesting. I didn't think there'd be anything up in here. Oh, is that another one? I feel like I got hit again. Technically not supposed to fish in here, but that was cool. That was the first fish I ever had on this jig that I hand tied. There might be some fish around yet. That was a fish. Interesting. Very interesting. Had one. Damn. It was small, but that would have been sick. Never caught anything. I hand tied this jig here a few weeks ago. Oh, I got like some. Well, that's just a weed. I thought it was string. Let's see if there's anything else over here. There's no one really around to tell me I can't do this, but I'm definitely not supposed to. I just kind of can't help myself. That was such a light bite. Makes me rethink all the bites I've been potentially getting today. No, it was pretty apparent now that I'm thinking about it. There's something pushing these bait fish up to the surface over here. All right. Well, that's pretty shallow. Let's try even more shallow over here. It's for fun. All right, well, saw some swirly bait fish over here. See if anything's sitting under them. What about along this? I think the key to that one spot was there's a bridge that goes under here. Or like a tunnel, I should say. Not a bridge, the opposite of a bridge. There's one. There's one. Nice. Great way to end it. Feels good too. Decent smallmouth. Decent smallmouth. Let's go. All right, don't lose this fish. Woo, he's pulling. Decent smallmouth. Beautiful. Get the net. Get the net. Come on. Come on. Oh no, oh no. Don't do that. Get into my net. There we go. Nice. Nice, another nice fish for today. Whew. I'm glad I stayed. Caught this nice smallie. It's got to be close to 2 pounds. Maybe a little over. On the jig that I hand tied. How sick is that? There's my jig, there's my fish. All right, get a little recap here. There's grass out of your mouth, buddy. Another one on the jig. That was a freaking grind, man. I was just pulling it along those rocks nice and easy. Do a little recap. There's one. Big girl came out and hammered it. She's looking super healthy. Look at that red eye. All right, let's get you back. See ya. Head first. Yes, let's go. All right, sick. All right, well, it's been fun. Got my jig tied up here. It would have been nice to catch some more fish, but sometimes it's just like that, especially when you only have like 2 or 3 hours to fish. And yeah, the weather's just been weird. It's been getting a lot colder at night, so I don't really know what's lurking around these parts right now. I haven't really been fishing here that often, but if you like what you saw today, please drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you caught some fish on the jig or how you feel about jig fishing in general. If you have any tips or pointers, it might help somebody out. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Dink Dangler. I'll see you next time.
Look, there's one.